Hello, so today is hot. Today is almost 40 degrees in Sydney, and I have my spray bottle for water because it's almost 8 now, so we don't really have much sunlight anymore, but it's still like 30 degrees or something out here. So I'm just having my spray bottle for cooling. The wind goes over here, so I'm like just spraying so that the wind brings the cooling effect to me. Anyway, I just spent like half a bottle basically. Um, oh, that no, that feels good. So tomorrow is also gonna be 40 degrees in Sydney. Um, so yeah, my Google weather though is wrong because it says like it was only going to be like 30 degrees today, and it's totally wrong. It's like 40, almost 40 degrees, and it's going to be 37 tomorrow, so another almost 40 degrees weather again, which is as I predicted. I think I've said it many times, like the colder it is, like in the beginning of um like the end of November, usually we will have like a very hot summer, but it's okay because like it's 40 degrees but it's dry 40. It's not like it's wet, like humid. And 40 is really bad because you can't breathe and you just trapped basically. 40 degrees with dry weather is bearable, and it has some wind, so if you're brave enough you can do your laundry and it will dry in a matter of 30 minutes. So it depends how you want to use this really hot weather. But for me, it's like my body is very sensitive to temperature. Too cold, too hot, it doesn't function. And I think that's one of the reason why I was so sick when I was like really young, like as a of course, like I didn't know it, but you know, when you're autistic, everything is just so sensitive. Your nervous system is not the same as other people's nervous system. I remember like my mom used to say like every time my my hair goes below my neck, I will get sick. And I kept thinking about it, and I think it's because of the temperature regulation around here. Like I can't get this area and my head to be too hot, otherwise my body just doesn't function. And it is the same like today. As soon as it was really hot, my body just don't function. My I get like very hazy. My brain doesn't work at all. I had enough energy, enough just to make myself something to eat, but that was it. Like I was basically just laying down on the couch and not do anything and existing. And also, I'm like contemplating about a lot of things in the world that are happening. Well, in our region anyway, in our Asian region, like the southeast is currently experiencing flooding, like massive flooding. And then, you know, with the Hong Kong recent fire, like last week or 2 weeks ago, it is as if, like, at least on the news anyway, on my social media feed news, like there are just a lot of natural disasters happening, fire, water. Now I'm just waiting for a typhoon, so that's wind. What is other thing? Metal. What is a metal thing? Volcano erupting? Yeah, because like volcanoes, lava could be a metal type thing, I think. Um, so I feel like I'm expecting like two more disaster to hit, like the wind type, and because all the elements, right? Like the water, fire, wind, and metal to kind of come together. Like the what is that? Like the four horsemen of the end of the world, which I just assume would be like the four elements of disasters around the world. Um, and of course, like it's December, and I'm contemplating of like what does it mean. I am having that feeling again in my stomach, that uncomfortable feeling of why life. I don't know. I just wanted to avoid contemplating it that way. Also, I think on social media, it basically said like Puff Diddy and 50 Cent. 50 Cent released the documentary for s- Puff Diddy, P Diddy, and it is really blowing up. I can't get my. I don't have Netflix, so I don't have an account on Netflix. I canceled my account on Netflix, so I just have to wait until it comes around somehow on the internet and check it out later. And just like watching it basically now, like on snippets on people's TikTok. So it's like maybe that's kind of a good summary for 2026. It's like an uncovering of people's bad laundry. It's like an airing of laundry. Like if you have uh, a double life, if you have life that is, a public life that is not the same as who you are behind closed doors, then you might be exposed in public, and that probably something that you will have to learn to live with. And I don't know, I usually get like a sense of what the next year is going to be, even if it's not for personal reason, for like the world. Like in 2020, for example, when we about to enter 2020, I had that feeling in my body of like, oh, I feel like we are living through a history now. Like I think we are living through a world history of some sort. And, of course, in 2020, the whole world basically shut down for 2 years. And I was like, oh, okay, that's what it meant. And it kind of like have that theme usually. And in 2024, I felt extreme anxiety to the degree of extreme rage and violent self inner child healing and a lot of that. Like, and then it kind of unfolded that way last year. And when I entered this year, I feel like I just give up. I just wanted to give up everything because nothing is working out. Life is just too hard for me, and I'm just gonna drop everything I was doing, which I did, except for vlogging. But I did that also. I dropped from like 5 days a week to like 1 day a week. I dropped everything this year as well. So this year was more like about letting go of things and just not hustling and just not doing so much and not grinding so much. This year was just about slowing down, was about basically I was giving up, to be honest. I was kind of like hoping that I will have the problem kind of surface, not the problem to not go away on its own, but like for the solution to come to me, because that was like the intention for my body to relax so that the solution can come up. Um, because nothing will happen if you're trying too hard anyway. So I was just trying to do that like in one go. But now we are in December, 5th of December, I think. I don't have the solution. Nothing came up. Everything gotten worse. My body is still haywiring. Like I'm still getting headaches. I'm still getting sickness from like even just the slightest temperature rise every day. I know 40 degrees is not the regular temperature, but if you remember, people's last year, 2024, actually had like 50 degrees weather across all Asia. I feel like 40 degrees is not as extreme as those people. And especially like I remember like reading news about 50 degrees weather across all Asia, and there are all humid areas like in India, Southeast Asia. That's like crazy weather, like 50 with humidity. So putting that into perspective, 40 degrees in Sydney, where we have beaches and while we have like air conditioning, and it's dry also, and we've got some some wind blowing. It's not as harsh as those conditions that other people had in other continents. I'm not putting it down though. It is difficult, but for my body. But I'm saying like from perspective wise, it's not as bad, I suppose. And we probably will still get a lot of 40 degrees weather um, soonish or something. But now I'm completing like half a decade of this 2020 or the 20s basically, because we are now approaching the 26. So we are approaching 2030 now. And it's a bit weird in my perspective because I was basically checked out most of 20, like in the 10s, like in the 2010s. Like I was basically checked out so much. You know, when, because I entered 2010, I think I was doing tarot reading or something still, and then I freaked out, and I basically decided to get a job, to find a job, and I couldn't, and then so I decided to uh, went back to doing law degree, and then suddenly I got a job, like I just a part time, like a casual job, and then that casual job turned into a full time job, and then by the time it was 2012, my mom died, and then I kind of just bailed out of everything. And that's how I spent like the 2010s from 2012 to now, which is 2025, which is 13 years now. And it is limbo area of non-existent in this purgatory, basically. The air is so dry, it irritates my sinus. Seriously, my body is not designed to exist, I think. But I think it's more about the nervous system and the brain, because like other people have their nervous system a lot worse than me and they're coping fine. Seems like they're still doing their job, they're still, plugging along. So every time I see that, I feel like why I can't do what they can. Anyway, that's just a personal thing. What was I saying? So yeah, so and I didn't see anyone for like throughout my 30s. I'm in my 40 now, and I feel like so for my so exactly for exactly I feel like throughout my 30s, exactly 30s, I didn't really see anyone. I was by myself, I was isolated. I think I spent the past 13 years in isolation, and I'm not really sure how to get out of it because now I'm seeing the world very differently. I tried to get out of the isolation in 2018. I think I made some effort. Like that year, I made a whole year of interviewing a lot of jobs, but it just never took. I think I ended that year, so that has to be like 7 years ago. I bumped onto a friend, like a very old friend. I think by that time, I was what 34, so the friend was 35. That was 7 years ago. Wow. Um, and so and yeah, it was weird because we haven't seen each other in decade probably, and of course like you could sense like when you see someone in your 30s, suddenly you're no longer the same people that you were in high school, for example. So you kind of wanted to move on, and you wanted to be friendly, but you don't want to be sucked back in and reliving the same dynamic and stuff, because you're not the same person, and you're seeing the world very differently as well. So that also happened like 7 years ago, but I don't really have a lot of other things. And in 2020, I made some money in my POD, like in my art bubble, Society 6, to 2022 probably. That's probably as far as I gotten of trying to make money out of it. And from then on, it has been a very downhill process. Now I don't have any more money coming in from those sources, mainly because the Red Bubble and Society 6 are dying, and the POD movement are dying. And also it's because globally, especially from 2020, we are becoming a lot more local nowadays. Like especially now you see like the fiscal import fees and everything. All the tax are going to be introduced if you are trading with other countries, and there's a lot more tension now between other countries. Like right now, Japan and Korea, no, Japan and China are having massive tensions, also, and so there's a lot of that nowadays, and I feel like we are a lot more local now. We are imposing a lot of taxes if we are importing or exporting to other countries. So POD, print on demand business, rely really much on, like for me anyway, I'm not really good at that game. Relies a lot on free trade, a lot on not having any kind of import duties or export duties, too much of it anyway. Like it used to be very generous. Like in Australia, it's still very generous. Like unless you are importing more than $900 or $1,000 Australian worth of goods, you're not gonna get charged with GST or import duties. But if you go beyond that, you're gonna get GST. No, you're gonna charge import duties and 5% or something, or depends whatever things that you're importing. So there's that, like and I'm not sure why I'm rambling. Maybe because today I've just been laying down on the couch and not being able to function at all. So I just need to let go of a lot of energy out. Yeah, so that's what's happening. So I am trying to feel out 2026, but I can't because I feel like now I'm still scrambling and trying to, how am I going to receive millions and millions of dollars into my bank account? How am I going to manifest that? Still scrambling the same old problems, and I'm still trying to find a solution to my body, how to fix it properly. It is definitely better nowadays, definitely, because I'm getting a lot more pockets of relief and a lot of more pockets of well-being. And of course, like and one of it is because of coincidence, which is like one is a weighted plushie. That really helped a lot, I think, in the beginning anyway. Now my body's gotten used to it, so it doesn't have a strong effect as it used to be in the first few weeks that I started carrying it in my sleep. Um, the purpose of a weighted plushie is to help my body felt like deep pressure, so it just felt as if that there is a connection there, like as if that there's a someone else, or like if you, it's like a hugging effect, so your body registers it as it's safe so it can sleep. That's what I'm using it. In the beginning it was really good because I was still having very high anxiety uh, state of being, so I hugged it a lot, and I still used it even up until 2 months ago when I was having a lot of trauma response. So that helped me kind of ride out that period. Probably will still use it in the future. I feel like I'm fully attached to it. You know what that I'm getting really desperate on these days is I'm feeling very desperate for a pet. Not actually not a cat, mainly like a dog. I'm not really sure why like the desperation is becoming stronger compared to other times, but it feels like I am becoming a lot more desperate. But at the same time, I don't want to take care of other people's dog, but that is my only option right now, so I'm not sure what's going on there energetically anyway. I'm talking about energetically right now, and I feel like because like if if it's other people's dog, that basically what I have been doing so far. I've been taking care of other things, other people's properties, other people's kids, other people's belonging, and they're not really mine. Like the ownership is not in under my name, and they can always be taken away, and at any time, even this apartment is not under my name, so I can always get kicked out. So it's feel like that. So I feel like I want to have something under my name, like a dog that is under my care. But at the same time, I acknowledge fully that I'm not financially stable yet to do that. So it's like I can't do that. But the desire is so strong now that it's becoming problematic almost, because I think I slipped a bit when I was in a Christmas party. I was like telling this lady basically, this is I think how desperate my energy is right now. It's like I was saying, if you get a dog, can you tell me, I want to play with it. I'm basically asking her to get a dog so I can play with it, which is very horrifying for her, I think, because she's like, I can't have a dog in my nursing home. uh, my bad. But that's what I meant. Like, I think I was becoming just very desperate. I usually have a neighbor that is that I see, but usually only during winter, like during the cold months, because he has like a French bulldog, so they have difficulty breathing in hot weather. So, like during summer, I don't see him at all with a dog, and also like he is renting, so I don't know when he's gonna move. He might move like this year, so I might not see him again next year. So there is that. Um, because he's been talking about moving for the past 2 years, so he probably would. And I have been wanting to, no, I've been wanting to become a better version of myself, a richer version of myself. For my whole life, for my 40 years, I guess what I want is stability and power. And as I get older, I feel like that dream needs to be let go because that dream is torturing me. It's keeping me still. Like, sometimes you just have to start somewhere, and you don't have to. I feel like I've become Australian so much that I always inflict the end of my sentence like that, the inflection. But like in a corporate setting, it is probably better if you don't inflect like that. Unless you want to be accepted in some way. I don't know. That's probably a social manipulations of such. Because, it's better if you put all your words down. So you put it, it's more authoritative. All these psychological tricks to get you ahead. Uh, I just don't know what to do with myself. I don't know what my expertise is. I was thinking maybe I should just open a consulting firm. And I'm thinking, can I really do that? Meaning, like, do I have the patience to deal with people? Because people are very annoying. You just have to, especially these days, like I don't see people at their age. I see their inner child for some reason. I feel like I'm seeing them as 10-year old, as 5-year old, as 8-year old. Like I could see like glimmer of them, like, their energy kind of flipped. Like the one in front of me could be 50s, could be 80s, could be 70s, but there is time when you can see the flip happening, and you're not talking to the 80-year-old, you're not talking to the 50-year-old, you're talking to the 10-year-old or the 8-year-old, and it's a bit interesting for me to see. And of course, like it probably could happen to me too, especially when I am performing of such in the social settings, like, hi, like being very cordial, and everyone just goes, "Oh, she's okay. Is she okay?" I don't know. Having a bitchful resting face is also problematic because people always think that I'm angry while I am just tired and exhausted. It's really also it's still hot. Let's put uh, okay. Ooh. I'm spraying myself with some water because there is a little bit of wind, so it's cool. So the water evaporate very quickly. and it's very dry, so it doesn't stick. Of course, like the best version is when it's not hot, but we take what we can get. I feel like I have abandoned my adult duties because I was shoved with adult duties as I was a kid. I think that's the reason why I am taking back my whole childhood and my whole teenagehood in my 30s and 40s. I flipped them around being a useless person because when I was really young, I was like so had to be a useful person, and then suddenly I'm like, no, I don't want that. I have been trying to force myself for the past decade or so of manifesting wealth and manifesting all of that. And now I'm giving up on that idea, even though I'm still trying. I'm still doing a lot of, meditation, visualization work and stuff, but not as hard as I used to. I'm not forcing anything to happen. I'm just kind of existing. I'm like in that space now where I feel like I accept that nothing is gonna happen. My life is probably gonna get worse. I know it's very depressing. Like no one's gonna come and save me. Life is just going to keep going the way it is. People are gonna keep playing mind games in the real world out there outside of my world, and in some sense, actually, there is a lot of cynical existence out there that is happening right now, which I find to be a bit dangerous, I think, because if everyone is cynical and if everyone is jaded like me, but like in a without any hope whatsoever, because I still have hopes even though I wanted to be 100% cynical and jaded. I can't help that I still have maybe 10% or 20% of hope that there are people out there who are sincere. There are people out there that have integrity and sincerity in performing their business, in performing their life, in carrying their own individual personal agenda uh, on earth. And I still hold that belief firmly. And even though I try to squish it down and make it go away, it doesn't go away. So it's still there. So I still believe that there are still people out there. The problem is if other people out there no longer have this faith or this belief in them, or because like if you don't have it, you're not going to act as if it exists, right? Because you only act as if you only act from what you know, from what you think is true from the inside. So unless you think that it is true that there are still good people out there, then you will not act accordingly, because I will still give like a benefit of the doubt to other people out there, and I will still give out of good faith to a lot of people that I interact with until they show me that they can't be trusted, and until they have like repetitive behaviors pattern that basically saying to me, I don't think you should go with this person because this behaviors, and it's a list, um, but I feel like it's heading towards a very dangerous territory these days, because I feel like more people don't have the belief that other people are good, and that's bad, because it's going to form this us between and them mentality. That's when violence start to happen and people are start to not become human anymore. The process of being dehumanized when interacting with other people is not going to be good, and you don't want that. You don't want that division. You don't want that mentality. You want to see other people as have more commonalities with you than differences. I'm not saying that you're not gonna get pissed off by other people. I'm not saying that, because I got pissed off with a lot of people these days. But usually it's based not on their ethnicity, or it's not based on their background. It's mostly based on behaviors. So I think, like, if you're getting pissed off of other people based on their behaviors, then that's fine, right? Like, if you, but not because of assumption of behaviors. That's two different things. Like, so yeah. But I guess I'm still naive, or I still want to believe that goodness still exists out there. It's something that even if I want to get rid of, I can't. Maybe it's a blessing in some way, because if it's up to me deliberately, I probably would yank it out of me, because it would make it a lot easier to be rich in without conscience, right? I can just steal and rob people, backstab people, and lie my way through the top, and that's which is probably what most people do. Um, you can just lie to people and get money and promise people. Like, I remember, like, watching this video about, there was this lady that their kid is allergic to gluten, and so she had to find, like, gluten-free bread, gluten-free food. And she found this particular one that she saw on social media, so she bought it. But every time the kid eats it, like, the kid gets really bad rashes, like, actual reaction was getting worse and worse. So she couldn't believe, like, what's going on, because she's feeding this kid gluten-free bread, gluten-free food, based on the packaging information on the product, right? And then she investigated it. She went to the original creator of the bread, like the maker, the baker, and stuff. And then she realized, like, when she got there, that the bakery is not a bakery. It was more like a middleman. What happened was, the person who's selling the gluten-free food basically bought the food from another vendor, and then just replaced the label with her uh, company brand, and resell it. So she is just a reseller. Basically, she bought the item somewhere else, the food somewhere else, and then she just pick up the label, slap her label on it, and resell it as gluten free. And she didn't even investigate or find out what the food were actually gluten free. So she just put gluten free because it's currently on trend, it's currently trending, and it's currently what's cool. So she just put gluten free, and a lot of people rely on that. So she basically just lied and almost put this woman's kid, in, like, permanent physical situation, because she just lied. She just wants some money. And of course, like, that's very dangerous. That's like a class to happen. But if you don't have conscience, it's a lot easier to make money. Like, people can just lie on here, right? They can just lie, and, like, a lot of Instagrammers are basically just lying about their lifestyle. They're like, "Oh, look at me! I'm overseas. I'm holidaying. This is," and holding, like, Hermes bags and stuff, and then goes like, "Oh my god, look at what I bought! I bought went so much shopping," and then. And it didn't there wasn't there, like, an article about it, like, a few years ago, about how about 20 people, 20 girls would put their money together to hire a hotel room, and then they would just take turns in taking pictures in the hotel rooms, like, throughout the duration of that one day, so that they would get the perception that they're staying in this hotel room, really luxury one. And it's easy to make money that way. Or you can just lie, like, "Oh my god, I am sick and I don't have money to buy food. I don't have good money to buy um, get places and buy medicine, which is very common, I think, especially on TikTok. The worst bit when it comes to TikTok is like those pages that basically just use animals abuse to generate income, and they like to generate donations, and it's not even a real video creator, like they're just reposting videos and they're just basically trying to garner sympathy from other people from the internet. Anyway, so this is definitely a hangout. This is not a full on discussion. I'm just having a very hot day in Sydney and I'm not sure how to cope with it. I'm having like a heat headache right now, even. Like, I'm having a headache because of the heat. I get this a lot actually. It's almost dark now, so probably it's time to go. This is probably the best time to record things, especially during summer. And we're not actually in what so today is 55, no, 5th of December. So in 17 days it will be the longest day in the southern no, in Sydney. And after that we are heading towards winter. So from 17 days from now, like, that will be the longest day. So the day will stretch more and more, longer and longer, until 22nd of December, which is summer solstice for us in the southern hemisphere. And from then, even though we're this December is our first summer month, so summer in Australia is December, January, and February, and March hits its autumn. So but summer solstice is on the 22nd December. So when that happens, that will be the longest day. We will have the longest day, daylight, and then the shortest night. And from then on, the day will become shorter and shorter until we hit 22nd of June next year. And that's when it will move towards summer again. So from 17 days from now, we will hit peak summer and then we will move towards winter. I feel like I this lady was saying in the Christmas party that her mother died at 96 years of age. And I'm thinking, I'm 42 soon. So that's another 54 years of being alive if I get to 96. I don't know if I want to live that long. Anyway, today that's just me. Today that's just like a bunch of nonsense rambling. I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for listening to this far. If you have actually, really appreciate it. Yeah, click like and subscribe if you enjoy this kind of nonsense top content. If you want to support directly, you can go to coffee.com/Valerie, and everything is in the description box below. I'll see you later. Bye, everyone.